Namaskar, welcome back to Media Scan. Viewers, headlines throughout this week have confirmed what we discussed here on Media Scan a few days back about USAID funding directly trying to interfere in our elections. But amidst all those interesting headlines, one story that seems to have missed the media's radar is the continuous success of our security forces in their war against Naxal terror. Let's take a look at this ground report from Chhattisgarh.
31/3/2026 के दिन को नक्सलवाद को इस देश से आखिरी सलाम करने का समय सुनिश्चित कर दिया गया है। मैं विश्वास दिलाता हूं कि उसके पहले नक्सलवाद को समाप्त कर देंगे।
Following clear directions from the centre, security forces in the Bastar region are carrying out relentless operations against Naxalites. As a result, in 2024 and the early months of 2025, security forces have achieved significant success. According to data from the Chhattisgarh police, between 2020 and February 20, 2025, a total of 383 Naxalites have been killed. 2,634 have been arrested and 2,631 have surrendered. There have been 464 encounters between security forces and Naxalites, during which 591 weapons and 1,194 IEDs have been seized. In just the first 40 days of this year, 87 Naxalites have been killed in encounters, with 71 of them being eliminated in the Bastar region. If we look at the national data, Home Ministry has stated that number of Naxal districts is down from 126 to just 38. 60 districts have been freed from Naxals in just 5 years. The nation witnessed a sharp reduction of 25% in Naxal violence in 2024 compared to 2023. The continuous operations by security forces have severely weakened Naxal organizations. Many top Naxal leaders have either been killed or have surrendered. The government has introduced rehabilitation schemes for surrendered Naxalites, providing them with employment opportunities, financial assistance, and a chance to reintegrate into mainstream society.
Slowly but surely, Naxal terror is going down in Bastar. Recent operation proved that complete peace and order is not very far. Somesh Patel for DD India, Chhattisgarh.
So that was Home Minister Amit Shah declaring left-wing extremism will be rooted out from the country by 2026. So, how achievable is that target? And are we prepared? We are now joined by a very special guest who is joining me straight from Bastar, IG Bastar Sundarraj P, well-known top cop and right now having the responsibility of leading this war against Naxal terror. Namaskar sir, and thank you for finding the time. My very first question to you sir is straight and simple. This war against the left-wing extremism has been going on for decades, if I am not wrong. So, to what would you explain, what would you attribute the reasons behind these recent successes which our security forces have been registering?
It is a clear-cut intention of the government, both government of India as well as the state government. They have a very clear intention to bring an end to this left-wing extremism in Bastar region. According to that intention, our security forces are making a committed efforts in the interior areas of Bastar region. In the last few months, special forces like DRG, STF, Bastar fighters, Cobra, paramilitary forces like CRPF, BSF, ITBP, SSB, CF, and other local forces, they have conducted well-coordinated operations, not only in the core area of LW affected areas, but also in the interstate border area along with bordering state security forces. So the outcome is very positive. And in the last 14 months, we have recovered more than 300 and huge number of graded and other similar weapons. So the outcome of the recent anti-Naxal operations very favorable, and we are hopeful of bringing into this left-wing extremism very soon than expected.
Right. So from what you are telling, sir, it's very clear that as you mentioned, there are several forces on the ground. All the boots are there, including central forces like the CRPF, but also locally constituted forces like the DRG, etc., which means we can safely conclude that there is a synergy between various security agencies. But when it comes to left-wing extremism, particularly in areas where there are very dense forests and villages are very far from each other, slightly inaccessible zones, we have been reading and following that our forces used to face or a kind of encounter some resistance from the local population. On that front, sir, what is your experience lately in these new successes that we have clocked? And is the local population cooperating with the forces? What is the kind of response?
Our approach is not only a police approach, it is a integrated approach of both police action clubbed with the developmental works. In the last couple of years, we have focused more on the connectivity issues. We have built up many roads in the interior area so that local population, they can have connect to their district headquarters as well as the block headquarters. And we have constructed like so many bridges across the local rivers and the major streams and all. So that has enhanced the connectivity in the interior area. So the government machinery, now they can go deep inside to deliver their services. And the local market, it has also improved, like people, they are able to bring their produce to the mainland area, sell those products, and the local economy also has received a lot of boost. Enhance the developmental activity has yielded a positive result in this area. So state government has a special scheme called as Niyat Niralnar, which means our model village or our successful village. So this scheme has ensured like the basic communities reaching about 5 kilometer radius of all our operational base camps. So we have able to provide like public distribution systems, electrification to the villages. We have reopened so many schools which was earlier closed due to the Naxal violence in the interior area. So our operational approach clubbed with the developmental activities, it is yielding very favorable result in this area. So the native population, they have also seen the real and ugly face of the Maoism, because of which they have lost more than 2,000 lives in this area for the last 2 decades, and many of their public infrastructure got damaged. So after seeing this real and ugly face of the Maoists, they have made up their mind to move away from the influence of the left-wing extremists and support the government initiatives for the developmental activities. So all this approach clubbed together, now we are in a position to deal with this left-wing extremism in a much better manner than the previous years.
Fine. You did tell us just now about the integrated approach, in tackling this menace. But one, if I may say, one aspect of the policy is also about how we are, we are encouraging the youth who were led astray to pick up the gun to surrender and then come back and try to, amalgamate with them with the social and the national mainstream. We are hearing a lot of chatter and reading about this new surrender policy of the government. How much of an outcome has it yielded, and what are the top highlights of the surrender policy? What is your feedback?
So all these years, the prohibited and banned CPI Maoist outfit, they have taken advantage of the inaccessible situation in the Bastar region, and they compelled the local population. They misguided the local population in the name of Jal Jamin Jungle, and they have made a compulsory recruitment, because of which hundreds and hundreds of local boys and girls, they have associated with this CPI Maoist outfit. After realizing the evil deeds of the CPI Maoist, now the native population, particularly the local cadres, they want to come out of the clutches of the left-wing extremism. So our surrender and rehabilitation policy is giving a lot of hope to them. Our policy is very practical, and we are providing like a economic support to those cadres who are surrendering, who are like who shun violence and would like to join the mainstream. We are providing like a lot of livelihood activity trainings also, and most of the surrender cadres, they are being reintegrated into the society after giving them basic skill trainings. So our surrender and rehabilitation policy is one of the effective policy in the entire country. And in the last 2 to 3 years, we have more than 2,000 cadres who will shun violence and join the national mainstream. So we are hopeful in the days to come. The rest of the cadres, they also will follow the footsteps of the other cadres who have join the mainstream, and they will be contributing for the peace and progress of the Bastar region.
But sir, when they give up their arms and you train them or you encourage them to take up some kind of a vocation, some employment, don't they and their families, are they not exposed to some kind of targeting by those cadres who must be resenting the fact that their influence is going down?
Yeah, like there have been few instances where the Naxals have targeted the surrender cadres also, but we ensure like the surrender cadres and their families, they are given adequate protection. So we conduct regular area domination operations and other kind of security drills so that the surrender cadres, they remain safe. And as far as possible, we try to accommodate them near the district headquarters or block headquarters so that they can live a safe and peaceful life. In spite of that, there have been a couple of instances where they have been targeted by the Naxal cadres, but the society also now they're coming forward to protect the surrender cadres, because these cadres, they were among them only who was earlier because of compulsion they have joined the other side, but the society now they're coming forward to protect the surrender cadres also. There has been very smooth reintegration of the surrender cadres into the society. So we are hopeful like in the days to come, like there won't be any security concern for the surrender cadres also.
Great, great. Sir, in 2023, towards the fag end of 2023, when I was touring various districts in the Bastar region, we saw a lot of excitement among the people for the assembly elections that were going on at that time. But we also saw many bills and posters on the walls and trees asking the people to boycott these elections. But now, when local body panchayat polls are going on in your state, we are told that this is perhaps the first round of polling in that state when there has been not a single boycott call from the Maoist cadres and people are coming out to exercise their franchise. How do you look at this new development and do you think it will sustain?
Strengthening the democratic institutions is very important in order to bring in peace and progress to the Bastar region. So in this direction, like there's been a lot of efforts, like even in spite of the boycott call during 2023 assembly elections as well as 2024 general elections, there have been very enthusiastic participation, electoral participation by the native population in those areas where there have been 0% voting in the previous elections. This time we have witnessed 70%, 80% voting, and many places we have opened up the like polling booth for the first time. So that way there have been very enthusiastic participation from the voters in the previous elections. And recently we have the local body elections. In the local body elections also, there have been more than 100 polling booths which we have re-established after almost 2 to 3 decades. These polling booths were earlier closed down due to Naxal activity. Now we have re-established this polling booth and we have received like a nomination for almost all the local body functionaries. So that way we have seen very positive and enthusiastic participation in the local body elections also. We have completed 2 phases of elections. Those 2 phases has gone off instant free and the third phases are scheduled for 23rd of February, and we are hopeful of conducting the third phase also without any untoward incident. So this is a very positive indicator, like basically Naxals are against the democratic form of governance. So when the people are coming forward to strengthen the democratic institutions, it gives a very positive feelers, and we are very hopeful like in the days to come, this kind of positive development will ensure end of left-wing extremism, as well as like empower the native population to take their own decision to participate in the developmental activities, and as well as to make decision for themselves, like how to go about the developmental activities, how to govern themselves. This is a very positive indicator which we are looking forward with a lot of hope and enthusiasm.
Fine. Sir, we have already seen the data just now in our report, and we are seeing some very major successes were registered by our security forces in their operations. But from time to time, such as a few weeks ago, there was an ID incident. From time to time, we are noticing that there have been losses on our side also. What is your assessment of the losses on our side? Definitely, they are much lower. But how ready are we for such an eventuality? Because of
regular and very committed training programs, our security forces now they are in a position to go deep inside the jungle and conduct effective operation. So our operational loss in the last couple of years, it is very minimum compared to the previous years. Unfortunately, we lost around 19 of our security personnel in the last 14 months in various action. But right now, the main challenge is improvised explosive devices, IEDs, because of which we have suffered heavy casualties in the previous years also, and even in 2025 in the initial months we have suffered casualties due to the IEDs. So we have a very comprehensive program to take care of this menace, and we are focusing more on the supply network of the Maoist, from where they're getting the explosive materials, from where they're getting the detonators, and the entire ecosystem of this IED network, and the arms and ammunition supply. To a great extent, we are able to curtail their chain of supply. And in the last couple of years, we have made huge progress in curtailing the fund flow also. So it is a very comprehensive and multi-directional effort in the last couple of years, because of which the CPMOs, they have suffered not only huge casualty in number of cadres, but their area of influence is also shrinking down. Their supply network is drying down. They are not getting new recruitment. So all these factors together, we are in an advantage position. And our objective for the forthcoming seasons to minimize casualty on our part, and as well as to minimize the casualty on the civilians also. In frustration,
sir,
used to target the innocent civilians also.
Since you have mentioned, we are just curious to know, sir, what in your assessment is actually the number of really active cadres remaining now in the Bastar region, and what is the expanse of the area that they are active? Particularly, how many of them are really dreaded, Naxal terrorists still active there?
The active Naxal cadre still has come down to a great extent compared to 15 years back. Now the strength is not more than 200 regular armed cadres, and there are fewer hundreds of cadres for their support system, they work in other frontal organization like DAKMS, CNM and all. But our concern is about the regular uniformed armed cadres, whose number is not more than a couple of hundreds. And in the last few years, we have neutralized more number of Naxal cadres, and we are hopeful of removing the remaining regular cadres also from the ecosystem. We are conducting effective operations, as well as we have a strong legal framework also to handle this illegal and banned outfit. We have a UAPA, as well as we have the State Special Security Force Act, which takes care of this kind of cadres as well as their supporting network. And we are hopeful of eliminating the entire support system from the Naxal ecosystem. So that's what that's how we are going forward about the entire system.
Okay. But sir, there is one thing that we have been told by your experts again and again, that is, it is easier to fight the guy who has picked up the gun on the ground in the jungle, but it is much more difficult to tackle the urban network, which provides them all the logistics, supplies, arms, ammunition, etc. And more importantly, gives them an intellectual cover fire to carry on with their fight. So on that front, what is the kind of success that you have achieved in tackling the urban network, and how difficult is it to deal with them?
Organization who directly or indirectly supports this banned and illegal CPMOist outfit, then they also will be subjected for legal action. So accordingly, in the last couple of years, we have unearthed so many modules where they have supported the Naxals by giving explosive supply or other logistic supply. Along with the interstate coordination, we have broken down a few modules where they have where these people are involved in this kind of activity, and other people who have been helping the Naxals for propaganda activity also. Those people also we have identified, and there have been few action involving people who are supporting them financially. So that way we have checked the flow of fund to the Naxal organization also. So in all this front, in the recent years, we have a lot of progress, and hopefully in the forthcoming days, our focus would be again in this area, so that we can totally cut off the supply network as well as the flow of fund and any kind of support to this illegal and banned outfit of CPMOist, because this organization, this outfit has claimed so many lives of innocent civilians in the Bastar region and other part of the country also, and they have stalled the progress of this area. They have many children, innocent children, women, they have suffered a lot because of the IEDs which they have planted inside the jungle area. there have been many occasions, even like wild animals or some cattle, they have lost their life because of the IDs planted by the CPM West organization. So that way, like we are focusing much on the entire ecosystem, not only the cadres who are armed and uniformed cadres in the jungle, but their supporting ecosystem in the other urban, semi-urban, and the rural area also. So that way, we have like very significant progress in the last few months, and the forthcoming days, our focus would be in this area, so that we can
point taken, sir.
Effective
Point taken.
action,
Allow me.
action.
We do not have much time left on the show, but I do want to ask you one very important question before we let you go, and that is, we have all heard the Home Minister more than once declaring very, very emphatically that left-wing extremism will be rooted out from the country by the end of 2026. Being there on the ground, leading this war against Naxal terror, how achievable is that target for you?
The recent indicators clearly states that like we are moving in the right direction. In 2024, we have a very good operation season, and in other parameters also, like we are able to provide developmental works. We are able to take out the development works even in the interior areas also. And the recently concluded Parliament and Lok Sabha Assembly elections also has shown a lot of faith by the local population in the democratic system of governance. All these factors indicates like we are moving in a very right and positive direction, and we will be hopeful. We are hopeful of achieving the target of bringing down this Naxal violence by March 2026, and the entire security forces are committed to achieve this target, as well as the local administration and the entire government mechanism. They are working hand in hand together, and the native population is also very excited about this target, because they have seen the Naxal violence for last 4 to 5 decades, and the entire generation of 2 generations, they have suffered a lot because of this Naxal menace, and they also want to see a positive identity to their area. They also want to live a peaceful and a normal life, and they want to give a positive kind of environment to the next generation. So all this factor together, we are very hopeful of achieving this target, and by next year we will be having a different scenario altogether.
Great. So very clearly, there is an integrated approach needed, which is being tried emphatically now. How to amalgamate the people into the national mainstream, at the same time promise them a peaceful and a progressive future. But Sundaraj P, Inspector General of Police, Bastar, thank you very much for finding the time for Media Scan amidst your busy schedule, and for explaining all those details to us and the related perspective. We wish you all the best in this most important war for the security of the nation. Namaskar.
Thank you, ma'am.
So that was IG Bastar Sundaraj P trying to tell us that the target of rooting out left-wing extremism in 2026, as declared by the Home Minister, is not only achievable, but the local population is excited because they see a peaceful and secure future for themselves. On that positive note, viewers, it's a wrap up on Media Scan for this weekend, but do join us next weekend with another episode on national importance. Till then, namaskar.